Not too long ago, I made a video where I went over how I organize my digital clutter. Not only did I really enjoy making that video, but I truly do enjoy sharing tips on organization and organizing digital clutter. And since digital clutter obviously isn't physical, it always seemed to sneak up on me and pile up all at once. And speaking for myself, as someone who works a lot from their laptop, nothing hinders my productivity like an unorganized digital space. So today I'm going to share a list of things that I do to keep my digital life organized. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you and you end up liking the video, be sure to like and please Batista bomb the subscribe button. Let's get started. Declutter Desktop. I always try to start my list with what I feel like makes the most sense, and that is still the case here. There's something just really satisfying about a very clean and simple desktop that just makes me want to tackle whatever it is I'm about to do. Visual clutter affects me in my digital space, just like it does in my physical space, by making me feel either distracted or overwhelmed. My laptop and my phone both have clear home screens, with the most used applications usually just one swipe away. My iPad does have a few things going on the home screen, but just for how I use it in my workflow, it just makes sense and all of these things get used frequently. I recommend starting by clearing your device's home screens of randomly placed files, folders, and icons, and maybe even trying out a simpler wallpaper. I've actually matched my laptop's and iPad's wallpaper, and I'm still using my own created one for my phone. Clean up system files. And I know, what does this even mean, because it's so broad. Cleaning system files to me means going through places like my downloads and other folders like that and just deleting what I don't need anymore. My MacBook only has 256 gigabytes of storage, which is just not a lot in today's era, so it fills up very quickly. So on a regular basis, I'll go through my computer, phone, and iPad and delete files I may have already used or just don't need anymore. Unsubscribe. Now, don't underestimate how good it feels to have a clutter-free and organized inbox. I've used my old email address to sign up for accounts, oftentimes for one-time uses, and then receive unwanted emails for years after that. But since then, I've set some time aside to manually stop those sites from sending me emails, usually by going to the website's preferences and occasionally just delete that account altogether. I may have signed up for the Dunkin' Donuts app like 8 years ago, but only recently turned off the email me with deals in the preferences. Like, why did it take me so long to do that? I want to keep my email a place where I only receive emails that I care about, not another place for advertisements to pile up. I suggest taking some time to go through your email and figure out the places you can unsubscribe from and prevent the junk from piling up. I would even go as far as to say, be as exclusive with your email as you are with your phone number. Organize files. Now, I did make an entire video on this where I go a lot more into detail just about how I do it, so I'll leave a link to that if you're interested. My method of organizing files is pretty much onto an external hard drive and organized by year. Again, this whole process really just warranted its own video, and I highly recommend just checking that out. So for here in this video, I'll just explain the importance of it to me. Keeping my files organized means I always know where a video or a document or something like that is, and I almost never have multiple gigabytes of things I don't need. Use external drives. I keep all my video backups, some digital copies of important documents, and just the photos that I dumped from my phone on an external hard drive, rather than the cloud. I use a SanDisk solid state drive that I'll hopefully get a long time of use out of. I personally keep all my devices empty and back up everything onto this drive. And yes, I understand the risk of that. However, using one of these would be a great way to keep a backup of the files that you also keep on your devices in case one of the other was lost or damaged. The current estimated lifespan of an SSD is about 10 years according to the internet, and everything on the internet is completely true, by the way. And 10 years is a bit of a longer lifespan than if I were to just keep everything on my computer or phone. I also do edit directly off an external hard drive, and oftentimes the project file itself far exceeds the total capacity of my computer, so editing directly off the external hard drive, I never have to worry about this. Delete duplicates. And before I do the very next thing on this list, I'll set some time aside to delete all the duplicates of photos, documents, as well as other junk like verification codes that were texted to me or emailed to me, like when I'm logging into one of my accounts. And when you're obsessed with your cat like I am, it's easy for these duplicates to pile up. But this doesn't just apply to photos and texts. If you think about it, when was the last time you went through your contacts and deleted the unwanted, unused, or duplicate phone numbers? I recommend going through your devices and delete all the duplicates you might not even realize are there. Backup regularly. I've read somewhere recently that the average iPhone user has about 630 photos on their phone. But I feel like that's being very generous, and it's actually way more than that. So something I've started doing is backing up my photos onto that external hard drive on a regular basis. After I've gone through all those duplicates and organized my files, I'm only left with the things I even care about backing up. And doing it on a frequent basis, it never really feels overwhelming, and there isn't really ever a lot to go through. Manage passwords neatly. Something I stupidly did most of my life was use the same password for almost everything. When I started using a unique password for all of my logins, I knew I had to come up with some type of method to keep them neatly organized. So along with having them written on a physical piece of paper and put away, I also made an electronic document with all my logins hidden in a folder somewhere. And while on the surface, it might not seem to make that much of a difference, just knowing I'll never have to guess or go through the process of resetting a password gives me some peace of mind. I can just reference one of these documents that I've made. Keep everything neat. Now, to kind of wrap up everything we've talked about on this list, I'm going to talk about just keeping all of your devices neat. That includes keeping the devices internally clean using all the methods we just talked about. Keeping your software updated usually results in better performance at the cost of a little bit of time and storage. And while we're on the subject of keeping everything clean, let's talk about the physical aspect as well. Wipe down your displays and maybe take off the cheesy Apple sticker you've put on your laptop, unless of course you like it. Having a physically clean digital space makes me a little bit more motivated to keep it internally clean as well. Anyways, that was my step-by-step guide to digital organization. And I truly hope that you found at least a few of these things on this list helpful. You know, talking about some of the things on this list is also a friendly reminder to myself that I should practice what I preach, because I tend to stray away from it often. As always, I appreciate the time you spent here, and I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video and you like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.